to think back to the year was 2008. So that's 11 and a half years ago. And where were you? 2008. Consider that. I'm going to try to speak loud, but if you can't hear, you got it. Front row seats. Front row seats. If your people back here doing this, you come right to the front. One of the greatest. Stanley Cup was 2008. So one of the things that experience I had in 2008 was the regional director position was opened up. Because Jeff Monroe, my predecessor, decided that God was calling him to be the regional director for not Western Great Lakes, but Western Europe. And so he went to Europe and did that, and that position opened up. And I had an interview with Gail Ebersol, Wiley Scott, and Bruce Ostering. And I know many of you know one or two or all three of those people. My interview happened at Coyote Cove. I don't know why we did the interview at Coyote Cove. I know why we did it at Timberwolf because they were all physically there in that space. But then we, like, in the what is now the living room at Coyote Cove, back then it was just a room. That's where we had my interview. And one of the things that we had to do in the interview process was write a whole bunch of, I had to answer a bunch of different questions. And one of the questions was, what is your 1-year vision, your 3-year vision, and your 20-year vision for the region? And I was like, 20-year vision? That's ridiculous. Who can even think that far out? And one of the things I put down was that by 20 years from now, we would have Young Life in every county. And so, that was just a part of what I shared, and the kind of the growth piece of that question. And I kind of forgot about that for a number of years. And we had a strategic plan that I inherited from Jeff, which was to grow from 80 ministries to 140 ministries over a 10-year period, and 2008 to 2018. And that would be 50% growth in 10 years. And we did that. And we actually did it in like a year and a half earlier than what we had hoped to. So we got to that mark, and we're actually, I think we're close to 140 right now. So it won't be long, we'll have doubled it. And when we reached that goal, I started thinking about just like my role as regional director in growth, and how can I help move us forward. And I remembered that question that was asked years ago, and I pulled it back out and I started thinking about it. And then I started talking about it with people, and specifically my regional committee. And I redid my regional committee. I said, you guys have been with me. Our focus at that point was our regional committee was helping to start volunteer areas. And I said, I want to tweak it a bit, and I want to focus on the counties that we're not in. And so this is the process that we're working through the regional committee now. And I created a little map. Actually, I used to use this map of Michigan. You might have seen me do it before, and I had drawn all over it, and it was real messy, and it was complicated because I just kept changing it around. So I had a guy that I got to know in Holland create this map for me. I'm going to ask some people to help hand these out. So you all get one today. As we're handing these out, I want to bring up this 3 verses, Hebrews 12. And this goes back to my interview process too, where I had to share a verse that was important for me in regards to my ministry. So Hebrews 12, 1-3 says, "Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of our faith. For the joy set before him, he endured the cross, scorning the shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Consider him who endured such opposition from sinners, so that they will not grow weary and lose heart." And there's a number of things in these 3 verses I think about in regards to growth. One is running with perseverance. Paul is giving this analogy And that, I resonate with that. But then fixing our eyes on Jesus. One of the things I love about Young Life is that we are Christocentric. We are Christ-centered. And when I think about these counties that we're not in, bringing the story of Jesus and Christ to kids that may not have heard it in a way that they understand, or may not have heard it at all. And then consider him who endured such opposition from sinners that you will not grow weary and lose heart. And my hope is that we will not grow weary and lose heart as we think about the next kid and the next school and the next county, as it were, with this event. I want to walk through the counties that we're not in quick a minute. And here's one little thing. We before Marquette happened, before John moved to Marquette, we would talk about Mackinac County, which is the one on the other side of the bridge, but we never really talked about those other counties. And maybe someday in the future we'll talk more about them. But right now we got Marquette where we are. Obviously the purple are the ones that we are in, the yellow are the ones, the orange are the ones that we're not in. And I want to briefly talk about the ones we're not in. So Mackinac County, the largest school in this county is LaSalle High School, and it has 277 kids. So we're talking about a lot of places that are like that, right? And the UP would be representative of that, as you think about that county. So that's right in St. Ignace, right on the other side of the bridge. And then moving down to Antrim. Aaron, what should we know about Antrim County? Appreciate it.
Right here.
Okay. Elk Rapids.
Yeah, Elk Rapids. I had an interest meeting there with with a church, and Kevin's best friend just moved there and said, once you start a club, I'll be a leader.
So there's conversations that are beginning in Antrim County. Benzie is just west and south of where Grand Traverse is right now. And there's a guy named Steve Grace, who is the assistant principal and athletic director at the school there. And Steve was, I would say, probably the best wildlife leader I've ever seen in Big Rapids when he was a teacher there, and now he's principal athletic director in Benzie. And so pray that he someday wakes up and is like, Young Life, yes, we're doing this in Benzie, let's make it happen. So a key person there. Kalkaska, we have no connections, from my understanding, in Kalkaska, but I was meeting with a donor. I'm now using this with some of my own personal donors, just to say, like, here's some of my focus. And so I was meeting with a donor last week and showed this map to him, and he's like, tell me about Kalkaska, because I go fishing up there. I spend a lot of time throughout the year in that county. And so we talked about it, and he's like, I'm going to pray for Young Life to start in Kalkaska. In that county, there's 2 school systems there. Mason is where Ludington is. Matt, what do you know about what's happening in Mason County?
Yeah, Ashley and Josh Latimer, who used to be on staff, on the east side of the state, they're interested. And my parents have a condo there, so we go up there. And I just emailed actually Monday. They said, get with us in February. So,
Something could happen soon.
Something could happen.
Yep. Yeah. Lake County there's one school system in Lake County, Baldwin Schools. The only school. And half the county is a national forest. And then the other half, Ryan knows a lot about Baldwin, spends time up there. The other half is where the people live, basically. But not a lot of people.
That's your 2-minute warning.
Oh, great, thanks. Baldwin is where our friend C.J. Kingdom Greer grew up. And so I was telling him about this, and he's like, I want to talk to you about Young Life in Lake County and in Baldwin. And I said, why don't you join my committee? Because that's what they do. And you can be like, that's my county. And so he did. And so he's on the regional committee, and we will soon, he's like, he's got people he wants to introduce us to. Oceana is where Shelby is. Kevin, tell us about Shelby in 10 seconds.
We had our first committee meeting in Shelby, and we'll have another one here probably in the next 2 weeks. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people on the committee. They're starting to recruit leaders now. Have a lot of community support there.
Yep, it's going to happen. That county, we're going to have a Young Life there. Montcalm, there's 7 high schools and their middle schools. There's 1,200 kids at Greenville High School alone. There's a ton of kids in this county, and we've never had Young Life there. Ionia, there's 5 high schools. There's tons of kids in this county too. Ionia High School has over 1,000 kids at it. There's a lot of potential ministry. Calhoun County is where Battle Creek is. And we've never had Young Life in Battle Creek. We've had a number of conversations along the years, myself and Mike, and we just don't have anything happening right now. But pray for Young Life in Battle Creek and those surrounding communities. Cass County includes Cassopolis, Dowagiac, Edwardsburg, and Marcellus. These schools that you might not have ever heard of, they're not big, right? And Niles, right. No, Niles is in St. Joe County.
No, it's very.
Oh, it's in Berry, right?
Yeah.
It's next door, but I don't think it's in Cass. Yep. And so some of these places, Dowagiac in particular, very diverse community. And it's kind of like post-industrial, lots of different reasons why people live there. There's some casinos there, I know. I'm almost done. And then St. Joe County in Michigan, the home of Colin High School. So you got that, 213 kids. LaPorte, Indiana is where Michigan City is, and Elkhart is where Elkhart and Goshen is. We've had conversations there too, but none happening right now. Here's what I'm going to ask you to do. What is the county that you will pray for? Okay? Think about that. And that's your takeaway. That's all I got. There you go.